Welcome to Episode 46, Contingency Planning, Part 2. This session explores continuity patterns in practice, the ways that strategy becomes structure and structure becomes muscle memory. Continuity is not just a written plan, it is an engineered system that connects technology, people, and process. Patterns help simplify that complexity. Whether through layered backups, tiered recovery sites, or coordinated communication flows, these patterns bring order to the unexpected. The purpose is not to eliminate disruption, but to control its direction and tempo. When teams rely on proven patterns, recovery becomes predictable, measurable, and faster. The goal is calm execution when the environment is anything but calm. Building on that, a backup strategy must align tightly with recovery objectives. Backups serve specific business promises: how much data can be lost, and how long restoration may take. Alignment begins by mapping systems to their recovery point and recovery time targets, then designing backup schedules and tools that meet those goals. For example, if a financial ledger requires near-zero data loss, continuous replication may replace nightly backups. Conversely, archives that change rarely might only need weekly captures. Strategy also defines who owns verification and how evidence of successful backups is retained. The strength of a backup program lies not in technology variety, but in its match to business tolerance for loss. From there, a coverage matrix for critical services provides visibility into what is actually protected. The matrix lists each application, database, and file system, along with where its backup resides, how often it runs, and who verifies it. It exposes blind spots, systems without coverage, outdated tools, or dependencies unaccounted for. Imagine seeing that customer portals back up hourly, while the authentication service they rely on only backs up weekly. That mismatch becomes an immediate fix. Maintaining this matrix turns backup claims into inventory truth. It also allows quick impact estimation when something fails, guiding restoration priorities accurately. Extending the pattern, decisions about frequency, retention, and encryption shape both protection and practicality. Frequency determines how current restored data will be. Retention decides how far back history can reach. Encryption safeguards data wherever it rests. Each factor involves trade-offs of cost, storage, and recovery time. For instance, retaining monthly snapshots for a year may meet compliance but strain capacity unless old versions compress or move to cold storage. Encryption policies must specify key management and recovery procedures, so backups are readable when needed most. Clear, documented standards ensure backups are both safe and usable, the two qualities that define value under pressure. From there, immutable or offline copy options provide the last line of defense against corruption and ransomware. Immutable storage prevents modification or deletion within a set window, while offline copies remove data entirely from connected networks. When malicious code strikes, these protected layers remain untouched. Picture a weekly snapshot locked for 90 days in Write-1 storage, or a tape archive stored off-site under controlled access. Verification should confirm that these copies truly exist and restore cleanly. Immutable and offline strategies may seem old-fashioned, but they provide assurance no encryption attack can erase. A guaranteed clean copy when everything else fails. Continuing upward, defining alternate site types and triggers determines where and when recovery operations shift. Site types range from cold, empty space awaiting setup to warm, with partially pre-configured systems, to hot, which mirror production continuously. Triggers specify when to activate each. For example, a short outage might invoke local failover, while a regional disaster might activate the warm cloud replica. The decision must be clear enough to avoid indecision, yet flexible enough to match circumstances. Regular drills test readiness and reveal whether triggers remain realistic as technology evolves. Alternate sites only add value if activation paths are both known and practiced. Building further, capacity planning and dependency mapping ensure that alternate environments can handle the workload they are meant to absorb. It is not enough to have space and power. The site must sustain critical processes without bottlenecks. Dependencies, such as identity systems, databases, and external connectors, must also exist or reconnect quickly. For instance, a cloud recovery region must have enough licenses, credentials, and network bandwidth reserved in advance. Mapping reveals where added capacity or cross-team coordination is required. When failover occurs, every dependency should find its counterpart waiting and ready, not missing or oversubscribed. From there, failover runbooks and sequencing steps turn theory into repeatable action. A runbook lists exactly what happens, in what order, and by whom, from declaring failover to verifying recovered service. Steps should include prerequisites, validation checks, and communication queues. Imagine a database promotion script that updates records only after network rerouting completes, preventing split-brain conditions. Runbooks are living documents, updated after each exercise to reflect lessons learned. Practiced sequencing prevents simultaneous actions that conflict and ensures that restoration proceeds in a smooth, predictable rhythm rather than a race of improvisation. Continuing the technical chain, network, DNS, and certificate continuity keep users connected as systems relocate. Network plans should pre-stage routes and firewalls in alternate sites. DNS entries should support rapid record changes or automated failover, and certificates should remain valid through the transition. A forgotten DNS cache or expired certificate can stall recovery longer than a missing server. For example, rolling certificates with overlapping validity avoids outages during relocation. Testing end-to-end connectivity confirms that links, names, and trust anchors remain intact. Network continuity is often the difference between recovered systems and reachable systems. From there, data integrity checks after recovery validate that restored information is complete and unaltered. Verification can include checksum comparisons, record counts, or sample audits. Automation can flag discrepancies between recovered and reference datasets, while human review handles critical or regulated records. For instance, reconciling financial transaction totals after restoration ensures no silent loss or duplication occurred. Integrity verification is the final quality control before declaring service fully operational. A system that restarts quickly but carries corrupted data is only an illusion of success. Building on collaboration, third parties and provider coordination extend continuity across shared responsibilities. Providers controlling cloud hosting, logistics, or communications must align recovery targets with the organization's own. Evidence of their testing and escalation procedures should be reviewed and documented. When an event occurs, designated contacts must exchange updates and confirm mutual readiness. A single vendor gap can undo internal excellence, so periodic joint exercises test assumptions. Shared continuity is not about trust alone. It is about synchronized action and verified readiness on both sides of the contract. From there, people logistics and remote operations maintain the human element of continuity. Staff need safe locations, secure access, and clear instructions for working during disruption. Alternate workspace planning must account for connectivity, credentials, and well-being. For example, remote workers may require temporary network routes or extended multi-factor authentication validity when systems shift. Planning also covers succession for critical roles and cross-training, so absence of one expert does not halt recovery. Continuity is sustained by people who can perform under stress because the plan already expected them to. Building on communication, pre-approved templates for stakeholders save crucial minutes when messaging matters most. Templates define tone, channels, and timing for updates to staff, customers, regulators, and media. They help maintain transparency without revealing sensitive details. A concise message acknowledging service impact, estimated recovery time, and contact guidance builds trust. During an event, leadership can fill in facts quickly rather than drafting from scratch. Tested communication patterns prevent missteps that damage reputation more than the outage itself. In closing, continuity patterns reduce chaos by converting uncertainty into routine. Aligned backups, practiced failover, coordinated providers, and clear communication together form a system that responds faster than events can escalate. Every tested pattern shortens the path from failure to function. Continuity planning succeeds not by eliminating surprises, but by ensuring they never become disasters. When technology, people, and process operate in concert, resilience stops being a reaction and becomes the organization's normal state. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.